When I was starting high school, one of my friends and I were talking about losing weight for the summer. I told him my plan to start running every day. He looked at me as though I was crazy, and he told me, I'm just gonna eat a lot of celery. Like the food? Why? Oh, you didn't know? In fact, consuming celery burns more calories than it contains, so the more I eat, the more weight I will lose. It's science. That was the first time I heard of what people call negative calorie foods. And well, it definitely sounded pretty great. Actually, the idea of negative calorie foods has been around for a while now, with one of the most commonly cited examples being celery. These so-called negative calorie foods take advantage of two scientific principles. See, when we eat food, the total energy contained within the food is measured by calories. Digestion, though, isn't perfect, so eating a certain number of calories doesn't always mean you get them. Some foods are tough on our bodies to break down. Another way of saying this is the calories are less bioavailable. When you eat a food which contains 100 calories, a portion of those calories will end up being excreted. Foods high in fiber are often used as an example of a food that's particularly tough for our bodies to digest. So, we thought we were getting 100 calories, but in our example, now we might be down to 80 calories after we factor in excretion. And that isn't even the entire story. Even more calories are lost through something called the thermic effect of food. Simply put, eating food also requires energy for your body to digest it. The energy needed to access the calories in the food needs to come from food which was previously eaten or stored energy, aka fat. While this amount of energy required to digest varies, it is typically around 1% to 3% for carbohydrates and fats, but up to 20% for proteins. So, to answer this negative calorie food question, we can build our equation. We start with the calories we consume, and after we subtract the calories excreted and the thermic effect of food, the energy cost to digest it, we are left with this, the net calories available. So the essence of the negative calorie food question is it possible for these two numbers to ever exceed the initial calories eaten, leaving you, after all is said and done, in an energy deficit? This is exactly what a team of researchers at the University of Cambridge set out to answer. One morning, they invited 15 female students into their lab. The women had been instructed to fast overnight. They then ate 100 grams of celery, which is the equivalent of 16 calories of celery. Celery is perhaps the most famous example of a so-called negative calorie food. During the following 3 hours, the researchers used a special ventilated hood to measure the increase in energy expenditure. Amazingly, the researchers watched as across the subjects, energy expenditure and fat oxidation rose in the participants. But would it exceed the 16 calories of energy in the celery? No. Although it got quite close, on average 86% of the calories in the celery were burned by the body simply digesting it, it never exceeded the amount of calories in the celery. They didn't, however, measure how much, if any, of the calories were excreted, the other element of our equation. Assuming none, we would be left with just 2.24 calories on average of celery actually absorbed. It is possible that they may have excreted a couple calories and gone into the negatives, but until more research is done, we won't know for certain. So, negative calories, are they real? Well, so far no study has proven it. And even if all the celery's calories were excreted, which is highly unlikely, that's only a deficit of less than 20 calories, which, to be honest, wouldn't make a big enough difference to be a standalone weight loss solution. If anything, I would say celery is most likely close to calorie neutral. While it still might be a great low-calorie option to help you feel full while dieting, eating it won't burn through your fat. The fact still remains, if you want to burn more calories, whether it's cardio, weightlifting, or walking the dog, moving your body is key. And until next time, D-Man signing off.